Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let us do without formal greeting. You all die now. Hello and welcome to Hunter x Hunter 101, the series that breaks down everyone and everything in the Hunter x Hunter world. And today, we are going to be examining one of the quieter yet simultaneously explosively charged spiders, Phaeton Porter. Phaeton Porter is an overwhelmingly serious man of relatively short stature, who often dons a predominantly black outfit that covers the majority of his body. His general demeanor is best described as icy cold, although there are certainly a fair few layers of complexity hiding underneath this exterior. Phaeton grew up in Meteor City, a junkyard civilization inhabited by individuals considered garbage to the rest of the world. Here, he became one of the founding members of the Phantom Troop led by Crawler Lucifer, a group that went on to specialize in thievery and murder throughout the world. As an example, one such mission that the group embarked upon was the systematic slaughter of the Kurt clan in order to harvest their scarlet eyes, which sell for extraordinarily high prices in the Hunter x Hunter world. And as one of the founding members of the troop, it is assumed that Phaeton took part in this event, which is quite horrific. However, Phaeton himself has a particular gruesome role amongst the troop, as he is their designated interrogator. As a result, he is highly proficient in the practice of torture, and what's more is that Phaeton seems to greatly enjoy this role, implying a heavily sadistic nature. In fact, one of the rare occasions in which Phaeton will break his icy persona is when he begins discussing his plans for interrogating someone, such as when the troop had captured Gon, and Phaeton began to discuss ripping off the boy's fingernails. With that said, Phaeton isn't completely devoid of sympathy, even towards his victims, as he has once commented that the people he feels sorry for the most are those that are subject to his torturous ways. Not sorry enough to not do it in the first place, of course, just enough to perhaps act as a mildly unpleasant aftertaste after the deed has been done. However, Phaeton's methodologies do lead him into direct conflict with other troop members, all of whom are also sadistic murderers in their own right, but even then, some of them still can't quite stomach Phaeton's desires. Other than that, as a founding member, Phaeton gets along very well with the rest of the troop, with him being quite close to Finks in particular. The two of them will often be seen on missions together, as well as conducting contests to see who can murder the most people. You know, that sort of classic best friend behavior. It's also been implied that Phaeton has a strong bond with Shalnark, trusting him implicitly, even when Shalnark's judgment is in stark contrast to his own. But it is also through Shalnark and Finks that we very occasionally see that Phaeton also wields some sort of sense of humor, and is not above teasing them, as indicated by these sneaky little eyes here. Phaeton would first appear in the series during the Yorknew arc, attending a gathering of all 13 members of the Phantom Troop, the first to have occurred in quite some time at that point. Here, the group were charged with stealing an exceptional amount of merchandise from a mafia auction, a role in which Phaeton demonstrated an affinity for infiltration, as he was able to successfully disguise himself as an auctioneer. Although I don't know, Franklin was also able to pass himself off as an auctioneer. I don't know about you, but the moment I see this guy pop out is when my suspicions are going to be raised. So perhaps it was less Phaeton's infiltration skills and more the complete lack of observation by anyone else in the building that allowed this mission to succeed. However, for the rest of the Yorknew arc, Phaeton would play more of a backseat role, becoming quite put off by the presence of Kurapika, the last surviving member of the Kurt clan, of which Phaeton assumedly took part in the genocide of. Unable to match Kurapika's mental prowess and Nen abilities catered specifically to deal with the troop, Phaeton proved unable to prevent the deaths of Uvogin and Pakunoda, as well as the subsequent excommunication of his leader, Crawler. Although it should be said that Phaeton didn't ever receive a fair chance to actually engage in his abilities during the Yorknew arc, and sadly that opportunity would have to wait well unto the events of the Chimera Ant arc. In a rare display of philanthropy, Phaeton, along with the rest of the Phantom Troop minus Crawler, returned to Meteor City, which was plagued by the terror of a Chimera Ant named Zazan, who Phaeton would come to face directly, putting his absolutely terrifying abilities on display for the first time. First up, in terms of hand-to-hand combat, Phaeton favors the use of a double-edged Shikomizue, concealed within an umbrella. Although the umbrella portion of the weapon is not just for concealment purposes, as it can also be open to potentially distract opponents, and is also capable of firing a bullet through the pressing of a button on the handle. But the use of this weapon is very much a simple choice in style for Phaeton, as his true danger comes in the realm of Nen. In terms of Nen, Phaeton is a natural transmuter, however he is also highly skilled in the areas of emission and conjuration, the latter of which is used to construct his Pain Pakahatsu, which is a suit of armor designed entirely to handle another ability that combines emission and transmutation, known as Rising Sun. With this Hatsu, Phaeton is able to transmute his aura into a scorching ball of heat, like a miniature sun really, and then emit the ball towards his opponent, generally resulting in the opponent, or when someone is actually subject to this technique, I think a better word would be victim. In any case, it results in the victim being helplessly simply burnt to death. Meanwhile, Phaeton is protected by the Painpacker suit originally conjured, which makes him resistant to the heat as well as supplies him with oxygen. As a kicker, Rising Sun is directly enhanced by the physical state of Phaeton himself, as the more damage he has incurred, the longer and hotter Rising Sun will become. Although it should be said that Phaeton's potential is not simply limited to this, as Sphinx has implied that there are multiple variations of this ability and that each begins by donning a different suit of armor. But the sheer power of the ability we've seen is not to be underestimated, as it is feared by all troop members who have experienced it in the past, holding the potential to eviscerate each and every one of them with ease should they not escape the blast radius in time. In any case, Phaeton's victory over Zazan awarded him with interim leadership of the Phantom Troop in Croller's absence. However, Phaeton would not hold this position for long, as Croller would return to the group after successfully having a Nen exorcism performed on him to rid himself of Kurapika's judgment chain. And now I'd like to flag that we have some spoilers coming up for non-manga readers. It's not a whole lot, but if you really don't want to know anything at all, then please do skip to this time in the video. Otherwise, let's proceed. Currently, Phaeton is aboard the Black Whale 1, bound for the Dark Continent with the rest of the Phantom Troop, simultaneously attempting to steal treasures of the Karkin Kingdom, whilst also seeking revenge against Hisoka Moro, a previous troop member responsible for killing Kotopi and Shalnok. Some more fun facts about Phaeton. Despite being one of the smallest members of the group, Phaeton is considered the 5th physically strongest member of the troop, according to the ever-accurate measurement of arm wrestling. On rare occasions, when Phaeton gets particularly angry, he will actually begin speaking an unknown language, which is presumably his mother tongue, although in the anime this language is portrayed as an inversion of Japanese. In both the manga and anime, Phaeton can be seen reading the works of Trevor Brown, an artist well known for his exploration of various paraphilia, some of which correlate to Phaeton's own interest in torture. And finally, a truly useless fact: despite preferring to hold his sword in his left hand, Phaeton is in fact ambidextrous. But that pretty much does it for Phaeton Porter. If you enjoyed this video and the content this channel produces in general, then please do consider donating to the New World Review Patreon, because the support of all of you amazing people is what continues to make this channel possible. And if Patreon isn't quite your style, then please do leave this video a like, share, or subscribe, because it also helps support this channel an incredible amount. And if you'd like to join the fun at any time, then please do head over to my Discord server, where a wide array of shenaniganry takes place on a daily basis. And finally, please do comment with who, what, or where you'd like to see featured on the next Hunter x Hunter 101.